is my comment. I'll share it. I'll remind them to create a press in the cloud. Hey, thanks for that. Otherwise, we will have missed it. So we'll try to deploy end-to-end on application so that it will be clear for you. So how to deploy when you modify and do some commit, how it will actually reflect in your website without downtime. Okay. So before that, let me start. I usually stop it when I'm not using, so that I'll get my 3 hours, whatever it is, will be extended. So we have two environments, right? One is development and another one is QA. If you click on this, so if you want to access from the outside the application, basically you need to enable the network. So again, we'll talk about the network firewall and those things. But for time being, just make sure that you should enable public access here. Access restrictions on and off. So if it is off, make it on. If it is on, then it is fine. So that one thing you need to make sure in case if you want to access the URL. Basically, if you see what I'm trying to say, this is your URL, right? If you access this URL, so it should have a this specific app service should have the public access. Then only you can access the. So now the application is working. You can see here. Similarly for the QA as well. So you have your QA service also. This is your QA service. It's a different URL altogether, right? Environment is different. Let's see whether this is working. The web app is running and waiting for. Okay, it is still running. Looks like. So much time. Now it is running.
Bhaskar?
Yes.
Is that Azure App Service where you last time we got an issue, right? Is that issue resolved? That's why.
That is just port issue, I said, right? So for that only you need to enable the public access. That's what I'm saying now.
Okay.
I'm explaining
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
If you go, if you click on your app service, go to network. There is networking will be there. So just enable the public access so that it will be available for the customers. For port by default, it will be enabled if you enable for the public. I think when we have created, I think we have not selected the public by default. Don't want to do that. So now if you come here, there is a project Hello World app. Your there is your pipelines, release pipeline. So edit this. So now what do you want? As soon as some change happens, what is the website now we have? This is what we have, right? Home page. Welcome, right? Instead of that, if you want to, okay, this is because of our free subscription. That is okay, not an issue because we have only one parallel thing, right? So for the job. So now I'm going to enable my application. For timing, I'll disable this. It is not required, or we can select while adding whichever task or whichever the stage you want to execute it. Now, what we need when you do the some commit here, automatically this should get deployed. Your artifact should get ready and should get deployed into your development environment and QA environment. That's what we want, right? So let us see. I'll make commit directly here in the files. Load app, use home. Right now it is welcome. That's what we have, right? Now I will change this to edit. Welcome to CI/CD pipelines. I'm making this change. I'm committing it. I hope we still have that CI, right? Pipelines. Where is our pipeline? Yeah, it has already triggered. Okay. Let us see how it is going to be. Where is pipelines? Go to pipelines. So its build is happening now. I will explain you, Anand, how to create a self-hosted agents also. Okay. We'll try to cover that. Is it linked? So it has started already. So release 6 is in. Must be waiting for my approval because we have enabled approval set. Approve it. So now that it is queued. See the logs. Redeployment approvals are done. Now it is running on agent. It is downloading the artifact. Now it is deploying it. Right now, what we have here is just a welcome. It should reflect to welcome to CI/CD as soon as the deployment is done. So we are not doing anything. We have just made a commit by doing some change. So my CI was completed successfully. Just check what is the status. Again, it is waiting for my approval. Approve it. So before approving it, I can check my development environment. Whatever the change I have made is reflecting or not. See, is reflected. So now, okay, this is what I'm expecting. I'm okay to proceed and or deliver to the QA. Now I can go and approve my QA. Then immediately it will go and deploy into the QA environment as well. Is it clear? Since we have enabled both in parallel, QA and QA2, QA1 basically QA2. So both are running in parallel. QA is queued, QA2 is in progress. Is it clear how it will go? It is done. QA2 is deployed successfully. Assume that in case if I have some issue on the deployed one, we can reuse this option, redeploy. See, automatically the other stage has started now. So it will go continuously like this. So anytime you have an option to redeploy to the previous version, automatically it will maintain that history. It will go and redeploy to the previous version. Assume that for some reason you found an issue after deploying and you have always a flexibility to revert it back to the previous one by using this option. Clear? Once this is done, automatically should go and deploy into the production as well. So it is waiting for the approval. I can validate my QA environments. If QA environments are working as expected, then I can go ahead and approve my production stuff. So here it will go and deploy into the production. I hope it is clear now. From end to end, how the process is configured. Right? Okay. Now we'll talk about agents. Agent pool. Yes.
Is it even we can see the success log also, right? Like once the deployment is done, so even we can track the log.
Logs are here. You can check anytime. Okay. Complete logs will be there. Like how, right? So you can validate, not an issue. Initializing the download artifacts, deployment, find Azure, what and all will be there. Everything is tracked. So based on your requirement, you can just revisit at any point in. Okay. What is agent pool? We'll talk about agents. Okay. I hope it is clear now for you what is CI/CD. Now we'll do some more deep dive on this process itself to understand better as a DevOps engineer. We should have a better understanding on how actually the agents will get allocated and what is the different types of agents and agent pools we have, and how the hierarchy is applied between your organizations and the project level. All those things we'll see. Okay. Any doubts before moving into this topic? The CI/CD
But
process.
in real time scenario, like Azure App Service, where we can go for the private only, right? Like the port numbers where we need to enable, or if it is an any intranet or I mean, so we'll go for private port, or should be enabled.
I'll talk about that. What is the port selection? Ideally, as a DevOps, I mean, the ops team will take care of that actually. So you need to give ultimately the requirement. You in the sense the complete team, the core team, whoever is involving there. I'll talk about that today. Okay. So, but this part is clear, right? How the deployment will happen. So generally, if you see, there are different agent pools. By default, what we have seen right now, we have selected, if you go to pipelines here. So there under the project settings, we have something called agent pools. There are two predefined agent pools. One is Azure pipeline, another one is the default one. So what is Azure pipeline? All the Microsoft hosted agents will come under the Azure pipelines. See, under this, till now, whatever we have done, we have not done anything on the self-hosted. Whatever jobs we have executed, everything we are doing on the Microsoft hosted agents only. So by default, why it is executing here? Because when you have configured your pipeline, when you have created your pipeline, you have selected your agent pool as Azure pipelines. That is the reason whichever is available as part of the Microsoft hosted agents, one of them is selecting and the jobs are being executed over there. You can see here what are the agents you have, hosted agent, right? And complete details of that. Security, we'll talk about that, these things, how to add security and what are the roles of these things. And if you have executed multiple these things, the analytics also will be available here. This is more for senior people who wants to analyze all these things. But ultimately, as a DevOps engineer, you should understand what is an agent pool, how to create an agent pool, how we can allocate different agents to different agent pools, because that's where you will link your pipelines to the agents and agent pools, right? Till now, whatever jobs we have executed, maybe a number of things we are changing here and there, but one thing is not changing, which is that agent is not changing. I mean, the concept I'm saying. So it can be a Windows agent, it can be a Linux agent, everything, right? So your agent is mandatory to execute any task. So where are you getting that agent? Go to your world app and the pipelines, whatever pipeline you select, any pipeline you can select and click here, edit. When we have created this, right? See, there is something called agent pool. This is what we have selected by default. Since we have selected Azure pipelines, that is the reason we are able to execute our tasks in the Microsoft hosted agent. Assume that you selected default one. There is nothing under this actually. If you see, there was nothing right under the default because we have not added any self-hosted agent. That is the reason Under the default, you are not finding anything. Assume that you have some agents which are other than the Microsoft hosted. You have your own self-hosted agents. Then automatically those things you can add it here. Let's say for understanding purpose, let me leave this. Where is that? Agent pools. See, if you see here, there is nothing here. To create some agent, then automatically that will be displayed here. This is one place where you need to create your agents. But can you create a pool here? Under the project level, you don't have access, or it will not allow you to create agent pool. The agent pool should be always under the organization settings. See, like what we have seen in the project level, you can see here under the organization settings, you have agent pools here as well. Again, same story. Whatever you are seeing there in the project level, those are getting inherited from the organization. Okay, it is not created for the specific. Here you can add an agent pool, actually. Pool type, you can select self-hosted or Azure Virtual Machine Scale Set. What is the difference? Self-hosted is completely independent host, basically, or agent, you can say. Whereas if you add an agent under the pool of agent virtual machines, sorry, AVM scale set, then it will be like the biggest advantage is it will maintain its own set of VMs. You can add basically multiple VMs for this set. If you are aware of ESXi, under an ESXi, how we can create multiple VMs. Similarly, here you can add multiple agents under this group pool, basically you can say. Then the advantage is auto scale up and auto scale down is a biggest advantage. So based on your workload, automatically the load balancing concept is applied here. If you add this, in case if more load is there, automatically that will be taken care. So that is the advantage. But assume that for time we are. So what is the name of this? You can say anyone. Self pool, you can say, and description. Grant access permission to all pipelines. Auto provision this agent pool in all projects. What does it mean? Where are we adding now? We're adding at the organization level. Within the organization, you will be having n number of projects. The pool, whatever you are adding here, should be inherited to all the projects, or you want to inherit only for the restricted projects. For that, you need to select this. And this pool should be available for all the pipelines or restricted pipelines. All the details you can control here. Just create this. Now, my self pool I have created now. Where? Under the organization. Because I have selected this checkbox while creating, now if you see, there is nothing here. No agents, nothing is there. Right? Now, if you go to your project, Hello World app, and check the project settings. Now go and check agent pools here. My self pool is automatically inherited to my project, right? So that is the hierarchy. Whatever you add, that will be inherited to the downstream projects if you select the checkbox or give the option while creating your pool. Assume that if you have created an agent which is not required for all the projects, and you need to give a specific pool for the specific project, then always you can restrict that. Assume that I am going to create another agent pool here. Okay, see here, there is nothing in the existing. In case if I have created an other project, this is what is that? My hello world app pool example, or just project pool, right? Grant access permission to all the pipelines. This is okay. See here, now we don't have option to inherit for this because this is project level. I hope you are getting it now. See, whatever I have created, my self pool is we have created at the org level, but whereas my project level I have created only for this project level. Now, if you go and check this specific agent under my another project, let's say, will I get it here? No. Hope you are following me. Here you will not get that because that is a project specific one. How can you make it? Assume that you have created, now you want to modify something. Again, go to your org level. It will be available in the organization level. It is other way. Even if you are creating at the project specific thing, you can go back to organization because your project is under the organization, right? So that hierarchy still remains same. Now, if you go and check your agent pools here, see here, the project level one is here. Is it clear? How the hierarchy is created?
Yeah, Bhaskar, once that project level pool is created, and if you go to organization level settings, and we are able to see that agent pool, right? So
Right.
can we edit those properties, like instead of organization level, I want to see that agent pool for all projects. Can we change that settings?
So you want to
Edit means I want to make that my project pool agent pool to be available for all projects. Can I change those settings by any chance here?
no, that is okay. Assume that you have created your pool at the project level, but you want to make it available for the others. That's what.
Other, yeah, I think go to organization level settings and try to check there. Organization level.
Here.
Not there.
This is my organization.
Okay.
Organization settings.
Settings. Go to that agent pool.
Agent pool.
This my project pool is there, right? So can we make it available for all this one?
No, this is project level, right? If you want, you can add the agent under this.
Okay, okay. But we cannot make that pool available for other projects, right? Once it is created.
Maybe global, we need to make this.
Here, you can see this. I think this is what you are asking, right? Inheritance
yes, yes.
on and off.
Yeah,
So under the security, global level, if you change it on, then that you obviously will have that option.
Yeah.
Right now it was off. Right?
Okay.
Okay. This is how you can create your agents and agent pools. Any doubt in this? So what is an agent? We talked about this actually. A build agent is a piece of installable software that runs one build or deployment job at a time. So that's whatever the tasks we are executing, that will be executed on the agent, right? And when do you want? We talked about two, right? One is self-hosted agents, another one is Microsoft hosted agents. So generally, we want to focus more on the self-hosted. Typically, when in what kind of scenarios you want to create your self-hosted agent? You are a member of a project and you want to use a set of machines owned by your team. Clear? For running build and deployment jobs only for your projects. If it is a project specific, then go for the self-hosted. So you don't want to share, let's say your project is running for continuously and you don't want to put it in the pool for your organization, within the organization to use other projects. Then you can always go for your self-hosted while creating your agents and use that. So it is restricted to your projects, right? Maybe it depends on your project type. If it is critical app and the security is not allowing you to share this, so in that case you can go for it. Clear?
Bhaskar,
Yes.
is that from organization to organization level also we can make it as inheritance like off, right? What are the projects we are not making as a global?
While creating in the
Anything we can,
organization level, while creating itself, we can always go and modify it, change it. You have better control over there in organization actually. Assume that you have created a, okay, I'll show you that also. What? This is organization, go to organization settings, so agent pools, add a pool, select type, self-hosted, right? Restricted pool, okay? I don't want to grant this. Auto provision this agent, right? Create it. Now, if you go to your project, organization, explicitly you need to add agent pools. Sorry, again, I'm the hello world app, project settings, agent pools. See, that restricted is not available here, though I have added in the organization level, right? I have added that in organization level, but I have restricted because it is restricted. I want to give only for the specific project, right? Again, your security will play the role here. So I'll talk about that in a few minutes, what type of roles you have and all those things. Okay. You should be a member since I'm the admin for both. So I have full rights here and there, but generally that will not be the case, right? Admin will create and other users will use it further. So you should be a member, user. There are different roles basically. So under the security, we'll manage that. Is it clear? Okay. Security of agent pools in organization settings. This is what I was talking about. So there are, if you go and create a agent pool at the organization level, you have three roles basically: reader, service account, and administrator. Administrator, we know he is the super user, and service account. What he can do, the members of service account, this is a role basically whatever we are talking, right? He can basically create a agent pool for that specific project if he is a member of that for this group. Reader, anyhow, you can play like executing and selecting the different agents which are available under the pool, all those things. So what I'll show current structure here. So what we are talking about, there are two things which we have seen, right? The pools can be created at the organization level and at the project level. If you go and check your organization level agent pools, go to security, assume that you are going to add a role here, some role. So what are the roles we have? One is reader, another one is service account, another one is administrator. These are the different roles we can create. Again, once you create, you can add the members for this roles. Okay. Similarly, you have agent pools which are available at the project level. Here you have different set of security rights. Again, go to security. Again, add. These are the predefined one, administrators or whatever it is, but reader, user, creator, administrator. That's what I'm talking about. Reader, user, administrator. Okay. creator, I am the creator. So owner will be the creator. So reader, a member of this role can view the project agent pools. Typically use this to add operators that are responsible for the monitoring the build and deployment jobs at the project agent. We will understand better when we use it real time. User, what is the role of user? Members of this role can use the project agent pool when authorizing pipelines. He will be the user who will be executing, like read, write, execute permissions will be there, right? He will be the read and execute permission user, this guy. And administrator, of course, is the complete managing all the administration act work. Clear? So what is Microsoft hosted agent? Till now we talked about what is Microsoft hosted, right? By default, whatever we have selected was the Microsoft hosted agents. If you go here in our project pipelines or the project settings. So by default, we have selected as a these Azure pipelines or the Microsoft hosted agents. Since our pipelines are executing because while you created your pipeline, you have selected as Microsoft hosted agent here. That is the reason you are seeing this list of agents which are available under this pool, which is Microsoft hosted agents. So this will be added all the time. So as soon as the new version is available, I think they are increasing this list now. So these are the Microsoft hosted agent. What is the difference? There are few drawbacks by using the Microsoft hosted agents. Of course, it depends on project to project. For our just understanding purpose, one drawback is every time when you deploy your application, as soon as you are done with your usage, automatically the agent will be reset to a default one. That means in case if you have done some configurations for your project specific thing, when you are redeploying it later again, I mean, maybe a week later or the second release, you have to redo that. Of course, everything is automated now. We are not doing anything manual, but just for knowledge purpose, I'm saying that is one disadvantage of following that. Okay. And this is what I showed you, right? This is the default hosts which are available as part of Microsoft hosted agents. Right? So, and in case if you are using the AML files, using you are creating your pipelines, try to use the latest. If you are aware of Docker concepts, when you are downloading your image, right, Docker pull, you will specify most of the time, or if you are creating any, if you have any experience in creating Docker files, we will try to maintain the latest one, right? So the image name followed by the version we have to give. There we'll give the colon latest or the colon so and so version, right? So if here also same thing. If you specify VM image followed by the image name and try to use the tag called as latest, then whichever is available, the latest version that will be picked up. So what does it mean? Now, if you see here, Ubuntu 18.0, Ubuntu 20.0, so and so 22.04, which is the latest out of this here, Ubuntu latest. So always the backend, whichever is the latest version, that will be deployed in this particular agent. So it is better to use latest if you don't have any dependency on the version specific, right? So like this, you can specify it here. Is it clear? Any doubts in this?
Bhaskar, this Microsoft hosted agents will be chargeable, right?
Yes. Again, yeah, I'll talk about that.
Okay.
This is what Microsoft hosted agent, what it will offer. Provide at least 10 GB storage for you. This is all for free subscriptions. Huh? So if you go to your organization, so what you will get under the billing, you will find what you will get for this. Microsoft hosted agents for free, 1800 minutes per month. And how many self-hosted you can create? One self-hosted you can create for one. If you want on top of it something, you can go for the paid parallel jobs. And automatically this will be increased. Right? And what you will get? Artifact resource you will get, what 2 GB only you will get, and used for all the rest. Okay. If you want more than 2 GB, again you need to go for it. If you click on this parallel jobs, you'll get more information. How many you will get? Microsoft hosted free type, one parallel job up to 1800 minutes per month. Right? You can see here currently 16 minutes are used, consumed already. In case assume that you have crossed 1800, then again you can go and purchase. Right? And how many self-hosted? One self-hosted you can get it. And public projects and private projects, again, when you are creating for public project and private project, your public project will have always an advantage when compared to private project. You'll get more number of hours, you'll get more number of space for free of cost I'm talking about. Okay. So this is what you'll get it for this. And what Microsoft hosted agent does not offer, the ability to sign in remote desktop login, and the ability to drop artifacts to UNC type, it will not allow. And the ability to run XAML files, XAML builds basically, like Xamarin or WF or UWP applications. In case if you have, those things are not supported by Microsoft hosted agents. So if you see here, go to your project, where is your pipeline? So there will be a file share. Go to publish artifacts. This is where we will publish your artifacts, right? So here you have an option to is that check. Is the not here. Check. Parallelism, I'll talk about the, but I want to show something like demand. I forgot where it is. When we are configuring, there is something called demand, right? I just want to explain about that. Where is that? Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay. So I hope you understood what is the difference between the self-hosted agent and Microsoft hosted agent. Basically, the major difference advantage between the self-hosted and Microsoft hosted agents are, these is what we discussed, different pools supported by the Microsoft agent. So this is the, we'll talk about little bit of what is the difference and how the network is applied between your self-hosted and the Microsoft hosted agents, right? Microsoft hosted agents, there is no issue at all because it is within the kind of on-premises for within the Azure environment. So there is no firewall restriction. So obviously it will work without any problems, without enabling your ports, all those things, right? So assume that these are the Microsoft hosted agents. It is directly linked to your agent pools. So we can use directly without enabling anything. Whereas if you assume that you have your self-hosted agents, so there is some layer which is called a network firewall, right? Obviously, everything is not allowed between your agent pools which are there in the Azure and the self-hosted. You need to explicitly enable the ports, whatever is required based on your requirement. Again, you need to define your inbound and outbound traffic here. So based on that only, it will allow you to access your applications. Again, in case if we have the similar thing on premises, again, same thing is applicable for the on-premises agents as well. So you need to enable to overcome the firewall issues, right? So again, the normal steps, how to create self-hosted agents. This is what I was talking. So Visual Studio Tools, whatever it is, assume that you have your Azure pipelines created in the Azure repos. Sorry, whatever the dev.azure our portal. So there you can have your machines which are available in the cloud, which are like app services or Microsoft hosted agents, anything. And other side, you can have your self-hosted agents. It can be on-premises also. So in that case, there is something called firewall, which will not allow you to access or the communicate between your Azure pipelines and the agents. So in that case, you need to enable your ports. The default port for this is 443, which you should enable it to ensure your organization works with any existing firewall or IP restrictions. Another thing, so your dev.azure.com should get enabled in your on-premises agents in case if you are going with the self-hosted agents. Okay, then only it will allow you to communicate between your Azure pipelines and your agents. And it is recommended to open port 443 to all traffic on the IP address. 443 will allow all traffic. That is the reason it is recommended to open the 443, right? And I think Anand or somebody was asking, this is what you were asking, right? Ports and all. Of course, these details you need to give for your ops team. Those are the ones who will manage actually the firewalls, right? Restrictions will be there at the network level. So they will create subnets. So each subnet will have a set of rules, right, for the traffic to allow. So make sure that whatever is required, that should be added to the inbound and outbound based on your requirement. In case if you want only inbound traffic, add it to the inbound rules. In case you have only outbound traffic, add it to the outbound rules. So generally, this is what the IP ranges which are given here. Anand, this is what you're asking, right? What ports, all those things. Based on your project requirement, you have to communicate to your network team so that they can enable the required ports. Generally, there will be NCRs and NCS. So where you need to raise those things, right? It has to go through its set of reviews. Then only it will allow basically. Clear? Any doubt in this?
Yeah, Bhaskar, like self-hosted agent will be it can be on premises or the cloud as well, right?
Yes, yes, yes. What is the advantage and disadvantage you will get? Assume that the self-hosted the content or the configuration, assume that your configuration is very difficult for your project, right? So in that case, you can go with the cloud self-hosted agent. So that way you have your dedicated system. When you revisit that, your configuration will remain same. It will not arise basically, right? For most of them, the containers we can create within the fraction of seconds, right? You will have your images. Generally, that's what is happening now. So we are most of the time we are least bothered about the configuration. Everything is on the fly now. So you have, because you have your images, you have your let's say I'm just giving an example, Docker file. So which will create within the fraction of seconds, the images will be there, which will be, again, you would have archived it into your whatever wherever is the artifactory directory or the repository. So obviously you can create within fraction of seconds or minutes the your agent using those concepts. But yes, you can create your on-premises self-hosted agent or the cloud host self-hosted agent as well.
Okay, got it.
So again, we have seen how to create a VM, though we have not created, but we have seen the process, right? How to create in case if it is a go here and add your virtual VM basically. Virtual machines. Create a virtual machine based on your requirement, right? How to connect again? You have to use your personal access token PAT. So you can generate your personal access token and configure that into your any doubts in this? Where is that? Go to your let's say sorry. I'm in Hello World app, project settings. There is our agent pools. Let's say under the default. Let's say I'm going to create a new agent. So this is how you can create a new agent. Under the default, assume that in case your agent is Windows, there is an option to download that agent, whatever, to connect between your this port Azure dev.azure.com of this specific thing to your agent. So there are two options. You can use directly this download option, copy this and download this. So there you will get one file called so agent. So that will be downloaded, and just go to the directory, and this will download a zip file. So unpack it and store it into a specific directory wherever you want. This is one option. Otherwise, this is another option through command line. Open a PowerShell and create this make directory of agent. Go to that agent. This command basically will download that zip file, agent whatever zip file. Okay. Once you have downloaded this, then go to that specific directory, which is agent, and run this command config.cmd. Right. Once this is done, then automatically the Azure pipelines will get added to this, in the sense the communication I'm saying, right? That's it. This is the command. In case we are using Mac, follow these steps. In case we are using Linux, follow this. So they have given the clear steps. Again, you can select based on your configuration, whether it's 32-bit or 64-bit or whatever it is, right? The downloadable will change. That's how I think else based on this. Clear? So is the steps, whatever we are showing, that same thing. It's the commands. Again, copy pasted from there only. It's like here. The same thing is documented here. Right? So demands. What is demand basically? Assume that your pool has 10 agents in a pool. Out of 10, there are 3 agents which are specific to a project. Okay. So basically tagging those agents with a specific name and using that while you are creating or using your what do you say, pipelines. This is nothing simple. Demand is nothing but, let's say, on demand you need to use some VMs. It should not be a like by default. How the pool will work? Where is that? Assume that this is your pool, right? In this, you have VM agent 1, agent 2, agent 3. Like this, you have 10 agents, whatever it is. Right? You have 10 agents. Now, when pipeline is triggered, so it will pick one of these VMs, right? But by using the demand, like on demand, if you want, like this is the agent which you need to use for a specific build, then it will directly mention this specific agent name and use that specific agent within the pool to that specific project. Okay. Nothing but a tag which is used within that tag. You need to specify like on demand if you want to use a specific agent like on demand. That's nothing but demand. So any doubt in this? Basically, what I'll show you that also. Just give me a thumb. Is this? Go to your is your project under we are under agent pool. Go to agent pool, Azure pipelines. Go to agents. Click on this. Here is something called capabilities. If something restricted to software availability, example, and if it is true, then only now I have created something called capabilities, right? Now this can be this specific agent, whichever is available. So that can be used in your pipelines, basically. When you go to your pipelines, we have seen that, right? Where is that pipeline? Go to pipeline, edit. When you go to your agent, there will be something called demand. This is what I was looking for here, right? So add a demand, something, whatever it is, the value, whatever we have given, something, right? Restricted, something we gave, right? Where is that? Some name we gave here, project level. Pool, agent pool, Azure, go to agents, state, capabilities. This is the name you need to use here. If this is available, equals to true, then only run my job. Otherwise, don't run my job. Okay. That is the setting. Clear? Save. Save. If I run this, if as long as that specific agent capabilities is set to true, then only this job will be executed. Otherwise, it will not execute. Let's say like that, you can create a tags, which is called capabilities. Those capabilities you can use like in demands. If it is matching, then only this specific pipeline will be executed. Otherwise, it will not. It's like on demand, basically. It's simple, just to summarize. Okay.
Yeah, Bhaskar, you mean to say if that agent is by chance not available in the pool due to some reasons, the pipeline will not
No,
trigger in other.
not that way. Okay, if it is not available, yes, because your demand is like that. If this is available, then only do it. If this is true, then go and do this. Otherwise, don't do it. That is the demand, right? What you are creating here. Like on demand, if you want to run something, so you can control like this also. That's what. See, let's say what I'm saying here. See, you have only agent job one. You can add one more agent, right? Here, one more job you can add. Correct. Maybe your job one should go and satisfy that criteria. Then job two, you can run it as it is. So job level, you can control that. Basically. So you can have a number of agents here, right? Within the pipeline. So one agent may be running, should meet that criteria. Another one may not be. That can continue as it is. Okay. So one more filter basically you need to use. So like out of, assume that you have 10 jobs which are running. Those 10 jobs are executing only on 5 agents. out of 5 agents, the last one should be like executed only if it is matching my demand. That way. Okay. We'll talk about jobs next session in detail. How like deep dive into jobs. Okay, thank you all.
Bhaskar? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry, Bhaskar. It's a generic doubt, like which I told you. So, see, if anything like if it is a private cloud or private or public, if any DMZ zone any kind of interfaces is sitting on that public DMZ zone, then the agent. So how we need to get that data is my application having the DMZ zone interfaces. It is a public private. Yes. So you are saying.
Okay.
Any kind of the firewalls where we need to work on DMZ zone interface data.
Ultimately, that's what I said. If your firewall network restrictions are there, you need to work out with your NCS, NCRs and make it available. See that you have to work out initially one time. You have to create a path. You have to show the route for that to connect.
Channel. Okay.
That is one time which you need to work. That is the part of initial setup.
So agent pipeline, like whichever the public. So the port number 443, the window like SQL Server and Windows. So if any kind of other than
You need to
so we
open
can
those ports.
enable like example.
You need to open.
Yeah.
That's what most of them. That's what I said. NCRs will be for that purpose only. On demand, they will enable. They will review. If it is valid, then they will enable it. Basically, they will open the ports.
Okay. See, if we are only it's a generic doubt, Bhaskar, not it's my if is when we propose IaaS, any kind of there are 14 interfaces, which 14 interfaces is connecting to my server. Let's say if any the 14 interfaces they are sitting on a Linux server. Okay, so Linux server and connecting to my server.